the 10 county grand.
If they were to Rain the Lake,
they were 2-0 on Rain the Lake.
Hell no.
My brother's up there. You better start. To be on the trading block.
I mean, if it comes out 10 county grand. Hey, are you on state committee? On March 7th?
Good, how you doing?
They approved 2.7 mil. They got 2.7. Well, I guess they got 2.8 here.
The mayor knows more you think about. Yeah, you know, Black Race, I had them here. They're a good group. They like it, and I like it. Well, they drew a crowd. Yeah, put it on you. Get that boat yet? It's in there. Get that boat yet?
Is that what it is? It's just something to think about.
Oh, they pretty boys. Yeah.
Yeah. I sent word to Nick today. I got some things in the, I got two things I think from Mick, one for Tom Rogers, and I don't know who that one was made to. But yeah, I checked, I double checked.
You can get who's looking at that.
That's right.
I didn't get one.
Yeah, that's for May 31st. Yep. I'm here. We told Nick. Told him I took this one and we get that. How much of that last year? North Carolina, South Carolina. Yeah, they did. For it far exceeded my expectation. We took it down there and we drilled it down there. It was fine. We're actually going back down. We're going back down here in a month in August. She found, she got she decided that's what she was doing. I was like, I'm good with that, as long as I get rid of all the cash.
He's on council. He's got a lot. He's on council. Okay. He's not here, I'll put it in the I said emergencies. Falls Parks Playground meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw. Here. Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And Clerk Treasurer me.
Any announcements?
Yeah, I got one announcement. The Little League parade's on April 25th, and I was wondering, do we need a motion to approve the streets to be closed during that, or is that automatically taken care of?
They've done it years past, but you said what the,
Okay.
Did you say April 25th, Aaron?
Yeah, it's April 25th.
Okay.
what time's on there?
I'm not sure. I just know that's the day. Usually it's around 9 o'clock, I believe. I don't think anybody's here tonight.
You want to put that in the motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to allow the Little League to have the parade on April 25th and to close the streets as needed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approved minutes previous meeting?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Committee reports. Have none. New business, Mario Todd restroom trailer.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's been a request from the sewer department, or I should say the sewer district, if they can use the restroom trailer for a special event. I think the information's in your packet. The date's the May 19th.
Any discussion?
Is that trailer in working order?
Yes. Well, the last was used by the Aurora Farmers Fair people.
They usually take pretty good care of it.
So they don't get it again.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow them to use our restroom trailer and make sure that it's returned to us in the same condition that it was sent to them.
For a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
That's all I had, Your Honor.
Okay. Old business, have none. Review and discuss claims board approval.
I'll move.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Board of Works, 5 minutes.
I could sit here, I don't know why.
We need to announce this meeting sometime during the Board of Works, the one for Wednesday.
Announcements.
Huh? Under announcements? We'll give it here, I'll make it if you want. Okay. This is yours. Today. This is for Wednesday night.
What time was that one?
4:30.
1:30 Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Board of Works.
Yeah. At summer help, yeah, and pool help, yes.
Good, how are you? I don't remember what it was, I remember the page.
And what do you enough to remember? Good content.
I'll be really in there. We almost. This 6 down there.
Fair enough. You been down over that building?
Yeah, because they usually get a couple things on it.
I'll throw them down and see if they're back. I got bird. Yeah. I told Brandon, I guess we're bringing it for a reason.
Now, when you raise that, do you have a, at the end of the day, when you get 3 years?
I was wondering, I was thinking about that today, I was right here.
3 years.
Read the chair.
And they'll be out there when they get down.
It's ready.
I think it's one of those scenarios that if
Bring us free.
no, or they might give you a better deal. So
Special permits.
Too far gone.
Sorry.
I've got a no trespass signs up.
Sorry. Yep, that's it.
Okay, thank you, dear.
and you do
That's that Mr. Diane. Diane, it's coming your way.
Donnie, you ready?
Yes, sir.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Call this Board of Works meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Donnie Bryant.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mario Todd.
Here.
Sergeant Nick Myers.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Bobby Mills.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Mayor Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements?
Yes, I have one. There will be a work session of the Board of Works, guys, Wednesday at 4:30 to discuss and approve summer and pool help. And you all should have packets on this,
Got it.
okay?
4:30.
4:30, yes.
Okay. Approved minutes of previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Committee reports. Fire Chief John Tremaine.
Couple things I want to report on tonight. Everybody should have a copy of the runs for March. We had 46 total calls for March. First couple, 3 months have been pretty busy for us. Also, we conducted our first quarter live burn 2 weeks ago. We had about 60 firefighters from 4 departments participating in it. So it was a busy weekend. The only other thing I got is everybody been kept up on my emails in reference to the debris and stuff. And you should have received the final email of my letter back. So,
Was that the 12:30 email today?
Yeah. So I have.
Police Department.
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
what is the, what's, if we're the ones that have to clean that up, what's the plan?
That's actually, it'd be up to this board more than anything.
I mean, don't you think it's something we should talk about? Because, it's,
Absolutely. From my standpoint, I think, there's 3 responsibilities there. That's me on the outside looking in. I think the board.
with the water coming back up, because it is coming back up, and we're supposed to get more rain. Is it going to be easier to do it while it's up?
Mario, you might be able to help me out. if we,
There may be less debris to
Yeah.
clean up.
but I mean, we can't be working down there when the water comes up, and couldn't you get in trouble for some of that debris going back into the...
Yeah, once it's on the shore and out of the water, you can't place it back in the water.
Oh.
But I guess my question would be, are we even authorized to be on that property to clean it up?
That'd be one of the things we need to ask the LCD, whether or not they're gonna require a right of entry, because it is their land.
Maybe Paul can answer that. What are you gonna do there, Paul? You got any idea?
Go to microphone, Paul, or use mics over there. From my standpoint, and this is my decision, it's not a bunch of guys over there playing politics, but from my standpoint, I've been put in charge of it. And if that gangplank, and if that boat wasn't there, that debris would not have accumulated in that spot. I'm not gonna clean it up. If, I had a conversation with Mario probably 2-3 weeks ago, and we stood up on top of the levee, and at that point, we felt like that it was in his contract and his duty to keep that area cleaned up. That's the way I feel about it.
Paul, again, do we have permission or a right-of-way? I mean, if we go down with a piece of equipment, the Corps is not going to be happy with that without having some type of right of entry or a permit,
Or something?
no matter who does it other than Conservancy, correct?
I just, you spent the whole time building a convention center, all kind of equipment going up and down through there. I mean, we're talking about a mini hoe right now.
But we had to get a permit, though.
You had a permit, but I can check and get you permission. I know that I can get you permission to take a piece of equipment down there. There's no doubt in my mind I can make that happen.
I just wouldn't
No,
want the
Mike
city
Rowan.
just to be
That's
going
the
down
right-
without
that's
any
the-
type of...
Aren't they talking
I agree.
about the river?
I mean, right now, and we talked about this, if that feller would get in there and he'd take a track hoe down there and sit there and push what is got water around it, he's turning a $8,000 to $10,000 job into probably about $1,000. And at this stage, with the Conservancy's concerned, if I'm gonna have to spend between $5,000 and $10,000 to clean a mess up, I would rather myself spend it on something more productive with what we got going on right now. I think with the lease that he's got arranged down there, I think he can clean it up, and I thought that's where we left it at 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's my feeling on it.
What about the service road? Will Conservancy clean that
I'll
up?
clean that up. I made a call to the Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers would not care if I left all that debris there, as long as none of that debris is taking and damaging our riprap or our grass. They've got no concern with it. I know that we've done things in the past, guys, but with what I've had thrown in front of me and with what I see down there, I don't think that we should do it. And if I get told to do it by the board or the Corps, and I know I won't get told by the Corps because they told me they would give me a letter stating that, but if my board told me to do it, I would do it. I just think that the man that's renting the boat should do it. There's plenty of people around town looking for work, and he could have somebody over there tomorrow and get it taken care of.
Mario, you said you wasn't referring to the city cleaning that up, or,
Well, whoever cleans it up
yeah.
is going to
If
need a
it's in
right
his
of entry or...
contract, I'm with Paul on that he should get on it.
Well, I say whoever.
It's not in his past contract. It's in the proposed one.
Please?
As far as keeping debris out, the new proposed contract it's in there, but I don't believe it's in the old Riverwatch lease, but
Well, I don't think, we haven't agreed to no new.
no, we haven't.
Well, can we give him a call and see if he will do it, and if he's not gonna do it in a timely manner, then if the city can get permission from LC to do it, the city do it and send him a bill?
Well, one of the things on the end, like I said, I just don't think that provision is in the old lease. Like at the end of the docks, right, Mario? That's what they are.
Floats?
The floats, there was a bunch under there, and the float was actually lift up like this. He used a tugboat, right?
Well, no, we actually had AEP came over
Oh, AEP
and
came over and pulled it
some
out.
out just to help keep
'Cause
from
there was so
snapping them.
much, right?
Correct.
So, but I don't know that we can require, I'll look at the lease again, but I don't, they're, ice, dirt, rubbish. I mean, have you seen the pile? I mean, I don't think that lease
Kind of
contract.
tracking Johnny's emails, I think his concern is to have fire, or I should say water access even if needed.
Well, we talked about this the other day, and I always look worst case scenario when it comes to fire. And if we was to have a catastrophe and we needed another water supply, that would be a water supply. Is the will.
Yeah, but debris would be in your way if you had a fire apparatus down there, you wouldn't be able to get in there.
Oh, no, get close to it.
We need to get debris out of there. See about get a permit, and if they have to, the city remove it, and we'll go through it there.
Is that something Carl can take care of, get a hold of him and tell him to get it cleaned up?
We have, yeah.
And if we don't, we'll take action ourselves and bill him.
Leslie presents an ordinance to you that needs to be adopted before I do it.
As far as making that a structure that's accessible by the department.
No, that's not it. Once it was permanently moored, you're able to go on that boat.
We haven't adopted it. That's what I was telling you. We need to adopt the Corps' language into our building code. That way it does become a permanent land structure. Right now, the state of Indiana doesn't look at it because we haven't adopted the Corps' language. That's what we're.
I misunderstood you then because I thought we were good with that letter that the Corps sent back to us.
The only thing is the Corps doesn't govern. It will after we adopt it.
Basically, the Corps signed off to allow us to take that control over, but we have to adopt the ordinance. And
I'm sorry if I may have misstated it.
No problem.
Do we need to go to all that there? I don't, again, I don't think the city should even own that boat. And, we've got so much responsibility down there, liability and everything. We need to get that boat out of our hands. That man's got a deal there, and I think it's time to end that deal. Where we at on that?
I have a lease for you all to look at. I'll probably email it this week to you. We can address it at the next meeting. I was kind of waiting until Mike got back in town. I don't think he's back in town yet, right?
Yeah, he's back.
He is back now?
Yes.
Okay.
Mario, I think we'll remove that debris down there.
What do you want to
Got
call
against that bridge, and it's liable to cause some damage to our bridge. Then it's gonna cost them more.
I would suggest we call a meeting with Mike down there and see if he'd like to help us remove it.
Okay.
If you want to take a vote, I guess, to
Yeah.
see if that's the case.
Anything on the board?
If we help him, I think we should recover any cost there is to us.
Anybody else on the board?
Mario, you gonna meet with him then? And
I'll go ahead and
else
call
wanna
me.
meet with him? Connie,
Please?
Aaron, you guys wanna go down and meet with him too, or
I've been down
a couple
there.
of you? No, I mean, to meet with Mike, to talk about it.
Talk to him about
If Mario calls me, I'll run down there.
Okay.
I can't, I don't know when, but call me, I'll run down there real quick.
Okay. I'll work on that tomorrow.
Okay.
Give me a call.
But we can't have three of us
Yeah,
down there.
three of us one time. Right? Police Department.
No report, Mayor.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
I'll report, Mayor.
Carl?
No report.
Building Department? Okay. New business, have none. Old business, Leslie, special crimes lease.
This is pursuant to the definitive agreement and escrow agreement we entered into with the county on the Special Crimes Unit building. It is through the Board of Works in Dearborn County, 4611 West Center Street. If you remember, this is the project that they put in over $300,000. I don't know what the final tally was on that. Do you know, Mario?
They've exceeded, but they picked up the added cost of it. So whatever our contractual agreement,
Okay. Oh, this is the budgeted amount that the city gave to the special crimes, which they give every year. In 2013's money, right? Or was it 14's money? It was 14's money. They used and put all of that towards this building. They also then, the total cost of the project was about $550,000, is that correct?
Ballpark.
And they came up with the other amount besides the $200,000 through all of their forfeitures and stuff that they collect through their forfeiture fund. So, do you guys have any questions about this?
One question, if I'm reading this right, they're responsible for all the utilities there, and they're responsible for all real estate taxes and assessments and...
And then also the big thing was, of course, is insurance. We did also change the maintenance portion of this, which, let's see where that is here.
10.
Yeah, it's number 10. We just put in there, shall perform routine maintenance on all mechanical systems and keep the premises in a clean, safe, and healthy conditions. So.
Anything, board?
I got one question. Did the old building come back to redevelopment, does it, or?
I believe they're going to bring it up the next meeting.
Okay.
We've went ahead and secured it and posted a no trespassing.
Utilities turn back over to us, or they still in their name?
They're probably terminated at this point.
You know, Grant, about the utilities?
How are they accessing Mario?
Right now they're using the contractor's gate, but this week they're going to get issued the fobs to use the maintenance gate.
And the CO has been issued? Has the CO been issued?
Yes, correct, Carl. CO has been issued.
Before they moved in.
Okay. I'll just ask for a motion to approve the lease agreement, and I'll have the mayor sign it.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
That's a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
The only other thing, Johnny, I did receive Greendale's interlocal sign back on the test fitting machine equipment. I had sent it to him just for the review, and they sent it back to me signed. So I'm not sure where Aurora is on it, but if you can check with their fire chief, and I'll make sure that's on for the 20th too for review of the board.
Okay, no more old business. Review and discuss claims board approval.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The utility board, as soon as you get seated. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Call utility board meeting order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votal.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements?
Mayor, if the board would permit me, I've got one announcement. Been in Lawrenceburg for about 6 months. Everyone here has gone out of their way to make me feel welcome. Had a great reception here. And in light of that, I'm pleased to introduce my family to you. And I'd like my wife Jackie to stand up. My daughter Heidi. My daughter Courtney. My daughter Kim and Cambria.
Wow.
And my son Cahill. Thank you. And I told them after I introduced them that they could go because my wife's going to do some grocery shopping for me because I have been here batching it for 6 months. But I think she wanted to speak for 5 or 10 minutes, yes? Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Welcome to Lawrenceburg. Approve the minutes previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Committee reports.
I'm sorry. No. No.
You have none?
I have none.
Okay. New business, have none. Old business has none. Review and discuss claims board approval. Second?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope,
Present.
member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Let's see. Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Here.
Police Department Sergeant Meyer.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes, previous meeting.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Committee reports, streets, alleys, and curbs, Aaron Cook.
No report, Mayor, except for the streets during the Little League parade I mentioned during the Parks meeting.
Okay. Any more, Aaron?
Nope, that's it.
Finance, J.R. Holcraft.
No report.
Fire Department, Bill Bruner.
No report, Mayor.
Police Department,
No report, Mayor.
Fire Chief John Tremaine.
The only thing I have is everybody should have a copy of the runs for March.
EMS Director Bob Mills.
No report, Mayor.
Building Department Carl Fryman.
I don't have anything unless you got any questions.
Well, I do.
This could be lengthy.
Who put the fence up around the parking lot over there at the Durbin Plaza?
Assume that would be approximately where they park their trucks.
Oh, okay. There was people asking me, and I said, I know the only one that we authorized to do was around the building, correct? That's all I had.
Okay. New business, Mike Lawrence, Fairhaven West upkeep safety issues.
Yeah, I was contacted by a resident there, which we've discussed the facility once before, and I didn't know if we could, or if the city ever did look into ownership of that.
We don't own it.
Okay, and if there's rules and regulations of how a facility like that's supposed to be maintained, if we can see to it that those are enforced. The residents telling me that there's been apartments vacant for months and months and months and haven't been made available. And then when it snows, they're not cleaning the sidewalks and stuff. They got to go through the snow to even get to the dumpster. And he brought me some pictures, which I forgot the pictures tonight. But if we could enforce any rules and regulations that's on a facility like that.
Who's the manager over now? Anybody know?
Mick McNemery.
McNemery.
He's still, I thought he
I think he was retiring.
retired out of it.
He's going to, but I don't know when,
Yeah, I think
when he,
just
if he
yesterday.
did yet or when he's going
The
to.
last couple of weeks, I think he.
Really? Carl, you want to find out who the manager is? Talk to him about it?
Mick was supposed to get back with me with his replacement.
Okay, we'll find out.
We've had the very issues that Mike's talking about, pretty much in contact with her quite a bit.
Okay, get with him, see what you can do.
I just don't know who always takes care of things. We'll find out. Under new.
From
They've
one
got
end,
go ahead, Jane, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you can go ahead if you want to.
They've got a maintenance man. I don't know much about it. I just know they have one.
I know that there's a gentleman over there, but I've never been privy to his number. I've always, when it comes down to it, me and Mario and I have went over a few times. Took care of a couple of things on temperatures.
You and Mario have been lots of places.
The snow thing, we made a phone call on, and I'll be honest with you, wasn't all that happy with the removal of it. They left the sidewalk. We went back and took pictures of that. Probably some different things in there that
That we
goes
can
outside of
enforce
the
without
building.
owning it, correct?
Right, without us owning it, it's hard for me to enforce it.
I get some of the same calls. I mean, I don't know what we can do about the empty apartments, but I get seniors that call me, they can't walk on the sidewalk because of the sheet of ice, so that's unsafe. And when they do plow it, they put all the snow piles in front of the dumpster so they can't get to the dumpster to throw away their trash. I get called on it too. I don't know how to handle it either.
And I too have received calls, not only from West, but from East. East has the same problem, parking lot issues, sidewalk issues, interior issues.
Over there.
Yeah. Apartments being left vacant for several months, why we've got people that need apartments. And what I was gonna say earlier, Jackie researched it for me, and she gave me some information on the lease, and didn't we say it was a Stephen King?
Pete King.
Yeah, Mr. King is still
Pete King.
the name, Pete King, whatever his name is, on paperwork. He lives in, was it Lexington, Jane?
I believe it was, and we tried to find as much information as we could, but did we ever agree that it was a 40-year lease? And
No,
it would
we didn't- we
revert back to
couldn't-
the
find
city?
out.
We couldn't find anything.
And I found no reversion.
No.
We had a title work done on it.
You did have title work done on it?
And there's
so-
no reversion, there was no reversionary clauses that I saw.
So it will stay in their hands forever?
Pretty much, yes.
Yep. I've been asking about it for like 3 years and nobody can find anything where it reverts back to the city.
I've been working on it too, Aaron.
Yeah.
But Jackie tried to help me, and I guess Leslie looked into the title. I didn't know
Yeah.
she looked into the title.
We all made some calls, Aaron, and we weren't getting any further than we really are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did go ahead and do the title work, and we don't own it. It is the corporation that owns it, which is it's just called Fairhaven. It's been some time ago.
I'm sorry, Leslie.
No,
finish.
there has been some time ago, so I don't know exactly, but I know Fairhaven's in the name, and it is a corporation that owns it, or LLC.
I don't know about West, but I live right behind East, and I know at one point in time, the city, out of common courtesy, used to make a drive through the parking lot over on East. I don't know if they still continue to do that now or not, but I know they did in the past. They would just go through the parking lot from the alley out to the street.
Well, West, I don't think it was the parking lot, it's the walkways.
They wore a sheet of ice.
Carl, I want you to find out who the property manager is, and
If somebody could tell me where they pay rent, where those checks are sent to, you could find me a money trail, I could probably get to the bottom of who's.
I have one phone number I can give to you.
And wherever that money is sent to, I'll
Oh, it
track
seems to me I
track it down,
I
see
have
what
one
you can
phone
do.
number I can pass along to you.
Okay. Mike, you got 3 Mile Ridge Street?
Yeah, which the association's on here also, it's the same thing, so I don't know if you want to move them up or wait.
Just go ahead and do them now,
Okay.
over there. Association wants to speak?
Tim Vincent, this is Sharon Gray. We're here with members of our board and other homeowners of 3 Mile Ridge, simply to ask the city to take 3 Mile Ridge over as a dedicated street. It's that simple.
Sharon, what was your last name, dear?
Gray.
Okay, thank you.
Anything on the board?
Mike's got something.
Mike?
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to let everyone know, this comes up every 4 years. It's a conversation that does reoccur. There are numerous reasons why the city has been unable to accept it in the past. First off, it was designed as a private community, and in fact, it was a very nice design. But the configuration does not work for a public or city street to try to get a dedicated right-of-way in because of the garages. It would actually, the garages would have to be located within the right-of-way. No setbacks would be able to be met. The parking works great for a private community, but not for a city street. The build, the actual design and build is fine for a residential community, not for a city street. And then you also get into, if you would consider doing this, there's probably 6 or 7 other private communities in Lawrenceburg that would end up saying, hey, they took over our driveway and parking lots, let's make them take ours over. And it would be the exact same thing. And it's very difficult, if not impossible, to bring that into compliance with the city specs for a public street. And in the past, I don't think anyone up there in your positions have been able to justify to the rest of the taxpayers why to burden them with assuming and paying for a private development. And you also don't want to encourage private developers to go in and do this because the design and the build was much cheaper than meeting the city specs, and then turn around and turn it over, and the city being stuck with trying to maintain and bring it into compliance.
Shouldn't there be an addendum made to that, though?
You guys can do whatever you want to do. It's just...
Thing is, we got a sewer pump down the bottom of it we use. We push snow on the thing now. I mean, it's... As those other streets, do we access a substation?
It's my understanding that it's not a substation. There's a sewage lift station down below, and I believe...
Okay.
And on that,
I believe they own that.
the sewage lift station is not,
No, we don't.
We don't own that.
It's the city's.
that is not our lift station.
That's not ours?
No, it provides service back to our system, but that is not our lift station.
Who owns it?
I guess the property.
We don't service it
The
around?
city comes down and services
They
it, I think.
service it.
City services it.
If we are, I'd like to have an understanding of that.
Mel, you know anything about that?
Yes,
Mel, would you come up to the microphone?
Yeah.
I think it was about 6 years ago, maybe 7, the city took over the operation of the lift station. I think I'm right on that. 6 or 7 years ago. So they brought it before council. The issue there was that they couldn't maintain it. There's no one there to maintain the lift station, and had some issues with wastewater flowing into the creek, which flows into our creek, which flows into the river. So,
and to clarify, that's probably, I'm sure it's accurate. When I went into the files to try to find whether or not we had ownership of this, the absence of those things, my inability, I guess I should say, to find those things led me to believe that it wasn't ours.
So can I ask, so that means they still own it and we just maintain it?
No,
Is that
we
correct?
own it.
No,
No.
he said we
They
took
actually-
over ownership.
Okay.
The city owns it.
But as far as one issue, just with the pump, I'm not mistaken, but there was supposed to be the road that does go down to the pump. To get the utility factor in there is very unsafe. We've had some serious issues with it.
I think we were waiting to get a right of entry, because I don't think it's plotted to the city at this time. The lift station is, but the roadway isn't. I think the council or Board of Works have approved to pave that section going down to the pump.
To pave it?
To pave it, yes.
City did, or?
City did, yeah. I'd have to check the minutes, don't you recall?
I
It was some
remember the
time
pump.
ago.
I remember the pump, but I don't remember the paving. But that's like a major issue.
Right.
I haven't had the experience of driving down it, but I know a few guys that have, and it's very, very dangerous, because our truck it's big. And that's all gravel, a lot of water runoff, which moves the gravel, creates rut.
Well, that was the problem, was eroding quite rapidly.
Right.
I think we were waiting for a right of entry to get in there to do that.
In order to do that, do we need to go ahead and make that a city street?
It wouldn't have to be a city street to do it, no.
But we're using this street. We push the snow and everything else on the street. I think an addendum can be made.
Mr. Mayor, you're not pushing the snow on the street.
Huh?
We're not getting any snow
Not getting
removal.
any snow removal.
It's supposed to be.
We're not getting it. We got it last year,
They
but that's
were.
the only year.
They were supposed to be up for this year doing it.
No, we didn't get it. We're not getting a whole lot. We got 49 units up there, and we're not getting a whole lot for our tax dollars.
Well, I believe because you're a property owner, we have a lift station, our trucks have to access it, you pay taxes. I don't understand why.
How much
The city
how much
doesn't
does something
dedicate.
like that cost?
It depends on how far you go with it. I mean, to bring it into compliance, you'd have to go in
be
and
major.
you'd have to tear everything out and redo it. Now, I don't think that we would do that, but there again, there's just almost, I can't figure out a way to bring that area into compliance along with the right-of-way, the actual construction or build of the pavement, or the setbacks, or the parking. And there again, we've gone through this with every private developer that comes in, and it's, okay, you can either do this, if you want it to be dedicated as a city street, or you can do this to be a private driveway or drive area. And it's fine what they did. It's just, it's fine for a private community, not necessarily for a public street.
I still don't see why an addendum can be made to take that in.
And we discussed it, and we know it's going to be a major job, but we could do it in stages.
And when it's
Break it
needed.
down.
We're not asking that you do anything right now. We're not, we just, if the time comes where something needs to be done, then yes.
Yeah, if it needs to be
We-
done.
You know, but we're not asking for anything to be done now.
Leslie, is there legal reasons that the city can't dedicate that street as a city
Well, I guess,
street?
I mean, I went over it with Mike as far, all of the things he just listed. I mean, there's no way to make them compliant with any of them, so you
But I
would have
mean,
to.
is there legally, do we have to make it compliant
If
to accept it as a city street?
Well, but then, I mean, I guess, my only thing is then you're opening up every single private developer around.
But which other road though has a lift station or any service that Lawrenceburg has to access at the end of it?
It's just that everyone's paying taxes, no matter where you're at. If you're paying taxes here in Lawrenceburg, that's, I mean, to me, what you're saying is that's entitling everybody to get a city street.
Why
There's a lift
why didn't the
station or
developer
anything.
make it so it could be accepted into the city?
It was a whole lot
Didn't know
cheaper
anything about that.
construction to
Okay.
build a private
Okay,
drive and parking
I
area
see.
than to build a city spec street.
I wondered that, but I didn't know.
If you want
Okay.
to, I don't care.
Mayor,
Yes.
Ward, if you would anybody be opposed to us tabling this issue? Letting myself, Mike, maybe some of the people on council look at the issues, because I'd like to get my mind wrapped around the utility portion of it, and look at the thing kind of holistically, and maybe answer some instead of trying to answer them on the spot, answer the legal questions. Give us some time to look at that and come back.
Honestly, we didn't expect you to do anything tonight. We expected you to take time to study the situation and see what needed to be done. All we're asking for is that we be treated fairly, that we get something for our tax dollars. The only thing we're getting from the city right now is trash collection. That's it.
You're supposed to get snow removal, and I'll make
Oh,
sure
we're
that
not
happens
getting
next year. They were supposed to.
We're not getting it.
Well, it'll happen next year.
We did last year, and that was because someone called down here and you know who it was, and asked for it, and we got it last year.
They push it because the garbage trucks go down, they go to that lift station.
The matriarch of the Democratic Party called last year.
Millie.
Millie, and we got it. And then that was the end of it.
Well, we understand that there have been other streets, in particular Shady Lane, that was developed by the same developer and builder, and it was accepted as a city street after the fact. And more importantly, surely at the time of construction, there must have been building codes and inspections, right?
Private.
That's where. Shady Lane was designed as a public street from day one, and yes, it was eventually accepted. And in fact, they went through, and on our punch-out, there were some items, some areas that had failed. Contractor, the developer, had to go back in and fix them on his dime before we could accept it, but that was a public street from day one. And on the codes and the testing for pavement, for off right-of-way, private, they go in with a much slighter design. They don't have to have the road, the stone, the subbase tested. Most of them go in with, at most, 6 inches of gravel and 3 inches of asphalt, and that's about half of what we require.
Your microphone.
Right here.
Okay. I couldn't see it for Lee.
Well, so, but no, I mean, so the testing on private property, basically, if a private individual wants to put in 1 inch of asphalt, they are entitled to do so, but Shady Lane was designed and approved from day one as a public street.
What about Nelson Drive?
That was always
It was always this.
Yeah.
What is your
Another
name?
question I have is the water main going down through the center of that street. We've been told that that's city maintained.
It is.
And you know, we were never apprised of the fact that it was not a city street when anyone purchased a unit there.
Yeah, we were never told that.
We were never told that, even from the get-go.
It was my understanding that there was a contract with POA, Property Owners Association agreement that you guys all signed from
Not
day
a private
one.
road.
And unfortunately, I do know under real estate law, I think it is, it's buyer beware. You need to know what you're buying. But every apartment house, every condominium, there's always utilities have to get there to service it. And, they have to access the site one way or another, and it's
They pay a
actually,
lot of property taxes.
but so does every other property owner.
What's her
ma'am.
last name? I'm sorry.
Well, it's up to the board. The board can approve it if they
Thank
want
you.
to. I mean,
Thank you.
and I have no problem with it.
Well, could there not be a variance?
There'd be many variances.
I think there
I mean,
can.
there would have to be a variance on every single property and more than one.
I'm on.
I mean, that goes in front of your plan commissioner, your BZA.
And I believe that the fire truck has been up there more than once and has been able to negotiate our street without problem.
Life Squad?
The Life Squad.
How many homes are up there? I don't remember.
49.
Little city in itself. It's up to the board. I wouldn't have any problem bringing that street in.
Only thing I want to make sure that
I
they're,
guarantee you.
I'm sorry, what?
You will get snow removal next winter. They were supposed to have done this.
is there any legal reason, Leslie, that not to do this, or you can't do this?
As Olin said, I mean, I would ask that you table it. We can look into it.
When would we then know something? When would we have an answer?
Well, he wants to go down and actually survey the
Yeah,
property.
like I
down there.
said, it seems like we got a lot of issues here. We've got some egress issues or safety issues to the lift station. So whatever we do here, I would like for it to not be a fragmented effort. I'd like to try to, if we can do something, take care of it all at one time. But unfortunately, obviously, I don't have the full background of the project. I'd like the opportunity to develop that, to look at that, educate myself on it, talk with Bill and some of the other folks about some of the issues that might be there, and Mike. So if we can agree on it, it would be nice to table the issue and bring it back up in a couple of weeks, and I can commit to you between now and then, I can have some answers.
By the next meeting, you think, or?
Okay.
I'd make a motion to table it until the next meeting so they can do some research.
You a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think on the lift station, we ought to make a ordinance, adopt that lift station?
I'm not prepared to answer that.
I mean, after you look at it or something,
Yeah, I mean,
since we're servicing it?
yeah, I need to get up to speed on it.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I think there was an
Come up
ordinance,
here.
I think there was an ordinance adopted before we took it over.
Think there was one adopted?
That's it.
Think one was adopted and they took it over?
That's my recollection, yeah.
Okay, we'll look into it, see if we make sure that...
Mel, do you remember about when that was? Because I can go back to the...
Best I remember, Olin, it was 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. Is that about right, Bill, or?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It was in, no, it was longer than that because it was in Cunningham's first administration.
That's 2004.
Yeah,
So,
somewhere in that administration.
so Jackie, you and I can spend some time to go through those records, see if we can track down that. Okay. Thanks, Mel.
Okay, moving on. Ivy Tech Mark Graver, Regional Economic Development Grant, Program for Ivy Tech Advanced Manufacturing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Graver, Ivy Tech Campus President. With me this evening is Chancellor Chris Lowry and Executive Director of Facilities Jeff Holkamp. Ivy Tech appreciates the opportunity today to present our Advanced Manufacturing and Technology Addition proposal to the Lakefront campus located on 500 Industrial Drive. I'd like to take you back about 15 months to December of 2013 when Ivy Tech initially presented the expansion proposal to the Grants Committee and City Council. The summary of that initial presentation was that Ivy Tech would like to repurpose and revitalize our Lakefront campus to have state-of-the-art advanced manufacturing and technology labs for a cost of approximately $6 million, of which Ivy Tech would provide $3 million, and the City of Lawrenceburg would provide the remaining $3 million. At the conclusion of those December 2013 presentations, the Grants Committee and this Council graciously provided $300,000 of seed money with three expectations. The first, for architectural drawings of the proposed project. The second was projected cost details of the project to ensure that the proposed project could indeed be completed for $6 million or less, and the final request was to acquire a local project sponsor. This evening we will provide detailed documentation that will fulfill those December 2013 Grants Committee and City Council requests. You should have booklets that were handed out to you, and we do have some extra ones if anyone would like them in the audience. Turning to section 1 of your booklet, labeled Advanced Manufacturing Expansion Project. Page 1-1 is of the current building. That is the north side of our lakefront campus at Ivy Tech Community College. You'll also notice in the middle, Schmidt Associates. That is the logo of the architect firm used by Ivy Tech for all construction projects. Page 1-2, and you'll have to rotate your book to landscape. Page 1-2 picture shows what the expanded portion of the building will look like when completed. The left side of the picture is the new addition, and that's located on the north side of the current building. Page 1-3 and 1-4 of the booklet are the executive summary and project definition. The high points for both pages are as follows. The proposed building expansion is 12,000 square feet and will house a welding lab, CNC machining lab, project lab, economic development lab, and 2 additional classrooms. 1,400 square feet of renovation will occur in the existing building and will include an industrial maintenance lab and an advanced manufacturing lab. The existing mechanical, electrical, pumps, and fire protection systems will require upgrades to support the new 12,000-foot addition. Page 1-5, once again you'll have to rotate your book to landscape. That's an aerial view of the proposed site. In the middle is the existing building. To the right of the existing building you'll see annotated the addition. To the far right is the fire tower training area, and directly below that is the lake, all annotated on that page. Page 1-6 shows the proposed addition and renovation of the existing building to include the 6 new high-tech advanced manufacturing and technology labs and the 2 classrooms. The left side is the 1,400 square feet of renovation that will occur in the existing building and will house, in the upper left, the industrial maintenance lab to include HVAC, wiring, pumps, steam, hydraulics, pneumatics, and electrical trainers. To the bottom left is the advanced manufacturing lab, which will include robotics, processing control, motors control, and PLC trainers. To the right of the picture is the 12,000 square foot addition, and the addition will house 2 additional computer labs, CNC machining lab, welding lab, and also the economic development lab. The economic development lab will be equipped with electric, water, and air needs for specialized training. Further explanation of this lab, if you think back to the spring of 2012, Intrapac relocated to Lawrenceburg. Intrapac was in need of specialized training and a location to house dedicated manufacturing equipment prior to relocating to Lawrenceburg. Intrapac moved their manufacturing equipment from Costa Rica to the Ivy Tech facility for the purpose of housing and training its newly hired employees. Ivy Tech provided machine operator training on Intrapac's manufacturing equipment for 80 newly hired employees. These fully trained employees enabled Intrapac to start immediate manufacturing production on the first day the new facility was open. Page 1-7 shows the capital project cost details. The anticipated construction schedule for this project is approximately 13 months, weather dependent. The estimated construction cost for the project is $6 million, and that will include 1,400 square feet of renovation to the existing building, 12,000 square feet addition, and the purchase of additional advanced manufacturing training equipment. Page number 8, 1-8, shows the increased operating cost of the college once the additional 12,000 square foot addition is completed. Additional yearly costs incurred by the college for operations, utilities, and maintenance will be $69,123 approximately. Page 1-9 is a very busy page. This is what we refer to as the Ivy Tech Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence Equipment Requirements. There are 4 columns, starting on the left. The left column, column number 1, lists all required equipment for a Center of Excellence. Column 2 lists the current equipment that is at that facility already. Column 3 lists required equipment to be purchased for a center of excellence. And column 4 is the estimated cost of the new equipment. We will initially be purchasing the 12 station welding trainers, the 3 industrial robots, and the CNC equipment. Are there any questions on the drawings, building additions, or renovations at this time? Tab number 2 is labeled Project Timeline. April 2015, Roman numeral 1 and 2, as mentioned earlier, was when the initial presentations were made to both the Grants Committee and City Council, December 12th and December 30th of 2013, and that's when the $3,000 was approved. Roman numeral 3 and 4 is the Ivy Tech Regional Board and State Board of Trustees approval. That occurred on January 31st and April 10th of 2014. On April 14th of 2014, the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission was approved as a sponsor for the project. On June 9th, a letter was sent from Ivy Tech Community College President Snyder, to Governor Pence, requesting approval for this project from both the CHE, which is the Commission for Higher Education, and the SBA, which is a state budget agency. On June 25th of 2014, the Commission approved this project, and on April 14th, the state budget agency also approved this project. On July 28th, the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission approved the $300,000 contract, and then in August of 2014, the project specifications, drawings, and cost estimates were completed by Schmidt & Associates, and a thank you letter was sent to the City of Lawrenceburg and elected officials thanking the city for the $300,000 seed money, and that was sent on September 12th by our Southeast Regional Board Chairperson, Gary Moeller. The check was presented from Mayor Carr to Chancellor Lowry on October 21st of 2014. Roman numeral 13, Ivy Tech made a presentation on January 20th of this year to the Greendale Redevelopment Commission. And then on March 25th of 2015, Ivy Tech once again presented to the Grants Committee in this room and was approved for $2.7 million, the remainder of the $3 million. That brings us to Roman numeral 15, which is tonight, making our final presentation for the remaining $2.7 million. Pending approval after tonight, we will move forward next month, meeting with Dearborn County Common Construction Wage Hearing. From there, we will solicit bids for the project during the months of June and July of this summer. Early August, we intend to have regional and state board approval of the contracts, and we anticipate starting construction on this project at the Industrial Drive building in the September-October 2015 timeframe. 13 months later, the completion date will be November-December of 2016, with our intentions of starting training in this facility in January of 2017. That's the beginning of our spring semester. I also included the documentation behind this page of the meeting minutes from the various meetings that were held over the last year and a half, and you can reference those. Section number 3, tab number 3, letters of support. We have letters of support for this building project from manufacturing businesses located in Lawrenceburg, Greendale, and Aurora. The letters emphasize the following: the need for advanced manufacturing training in southeastern Indiana, the need to create an economic development environment to both serve existing companies but also to recruit future employees and employers in southeastern Indiana, to provide an opportunity to upskill incumbent, underemployed, and dislocated workers into manufacturing career pathways, and also to provide southeastern Indiana with the space and equipment needed for workforce training in order to stay globally competitive. I ask you to turn to page 3, 3-4A at this time. And I would like to read several lines from a letter of support written by the Executive Vice President Jay Weber of Batesville Products. Page 3-4A. Starts out, Dear City Officials. Paragraph number 2, sentence number 1. Every day when we court a job, the companies we are competing with are located in Mexico, China, Singapore, Taiwan, and Canada. The last sentence in paragraph number 2, if we get the job, the employees get paid. And he can go over in town and buy something with his paycheck. So Lawrenceburg merchants are really in competition with merchants in these countries as well as the city of Lawrenceburg. Paragraph number 4, Mr. Weber states in the first sentence, I believe the proposed expansion represents a necessary investment for the city of Lawrenceburg and is critical to the long-term economic prosperity of southeastern region of Indiana. And the last sentence in paragraph number 4 goes on to state, Ivy Tech's proposed expansion not only fills a need for high-quality training that exists now for our company, but for our future employment needs for skilled technicians to produce high-quality, cost-effective products for our customers and the customers of additional companies that will be drawn to this area. Tab number 4, the last section in the booklet, is labeled Manufacturing Survey. This survey is the result of a local manufacturing survey conducted in December of 2014 and January of 2015. The survey was created by the local manufacturing roundtable group formed during the summer of 2014, which include Dearborn County elected officials, City of Lawrenceburg, Greendale, and Aurora elected officials, local businesses, and manufacturing CEOs and administrators and Ivy Tech personnel. I ask you to turn to page number 7. Page 7 lists anticipated labor needs, timelines, and quantities by our local manufacturing employers. You'll see listed on page 7, production assembly, 126 needed in 1 to 3 years. CNC machine operators, 51 needed in 1 to 3 years. Industrial maintenance technicians, 15. And finally, quality control, 12. On page number 8 of that survey lists labor needs over the next 12 months. And you'll see listed there, machinist, mold and pattern makers, tool and die, CNC machines, general production, machine operators, and welding. Page number 9 identifies in the survey the hardest to fill in southeastern Indiana. That includes CNC programmers, machinists, welding, engineers, and machine operators. In conclusion, Indiana's economy is critically linked to manufacturing. Southeastern Indiana companies continue to experience shortages of technical maintenance and skilled entry-level manufacturing positions. This project will provide students and incumbent workers access to manufacturing maintenance and advanced manufacturing programs which have been unavailable to students in southeastern Indiana. Degree-seeking students and incumbent workers will be able to complete certificates and degrees in industrial technology and advanced manufacturing, and it will also allow for the expansion of future certificates and degree programs in mechanical engineering, institutes in welding, and machine tool. The project will also provide the college expanded high school dual enrollment opportunities for students seeking a career in industrial maintenance and advanced manufacturing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time and thoughtful consideration to providing necessary funding for the Ivy Tech Community College Advanced Manufacturing and Technology Training Facility. At this time, I would like to ask Chancellor Lowry to come forward to make a few final comments.
Good evening. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your introduction. Members of the council, mayor, city officials, thank you for allowing us to be with you this evening once again. I'm pleased to be here with you representing Ivy Tech, and more importantly, representing the partnership that we have with all of you in this community. I think all of you know this community has a rich history and promising future based on collaborative partnership, and nowhere is that any clearer than with Ivy Tech Community College. As Mr. Graver said, the timing of the Advanced Manufacturing Center coincides significantly with the needs of the marketplace and also with steps being taken these days, right now, to increase educational attainment in our part of the state and to prepare our economy for the future. It's a future that we're all preparing for our children and our grandchildren, and it is inextricably connected to manufacturing. In Lawrenceburg, specifically in southeastern Indiana, we at Ivy Tech have adopted a strategy to make certain that resources are aligned between education, K-12, between Ivy Tech, and between employers, and very specifically in manufacturing. We're also making sure and relentlessly focusing on being certain that our services are student-centric and worker-centric. And also, again, as Mr. Graver pointed out from the information in the surveys, making sure that what we're doing is demand-driven, that what we put in place in partnership with those who we collaborate with meets the needs of the market and the needs of those who wish to have jobs. I'll be brief with the remainder of my comments, but to share with you that through the programs and partnerships that will be the reality at the Advanced Manufacturing Center, individuals are going to gain skills for good jobs, well-paying jobs that are in high demand. They'll have capabilities that are marketable. I think it's significant to notice a couple of things to which Mr. Graver referenced specifically for this area. I think all of you know manufacturing is the #1 sector of the economy in the state of Indiana. As a percentage of gross GDP and as a percentage of our adult employment population, it is #1 in the nation. Perhaps we all don't know this, but it's an even higher percentage in both of those categories for southeastern Indiana. Manufacturing jobs make our economy work. Beyond those things, I think it's important to note that the figures that Mr. Graver pointed out, the current demand needs, are to be looked at with a future cast to them. Beyond the future demands, the current demands we also have future needs. The employers with whom we talk want to grow, and they're trying to grow. They're innovators, they're risk takers, and they like being part of this community in this area. They're going to have increased demands for employees. In addition to that, almost every one of them facing a retirement bubble. As you know, until the last year or so, I was with Hill & Brand in Batesville and Batesville Casket Company. That company for whom I worked and the companies throughout this area face a retirement bubble. If you ask one of those executives that Mr. Graver referred to, so what's it look like in your plant, in your organization? She or he will say, well, my average workforce is 50-some years of age and they've got about 25 to 30 years of experience. They're facing a retirement bubble. It's reality. At the same time, they're trying to grow their jobs. You know, so area manufacturers underscore this for us. Numbers that we get from Bureau of Labor Statistics, Department of Labor, the Indiana Department of Workforce Development, and the whole other alphabet soup of agencies tell us these are the realities we face, and that manufacturing is a critical part of what makes our economy tick. Lastly, I'll close with this. Mr. Graver talked about in the letter that we heard read from Mr. Weber about the competition that we face. We know we face competition from other communities. We certainly face competition from other states, and we absolutely face competition from other nations. I had with me at the Grants Committee hearing a piece of paper. It was 10 rupees from India. A couple of months ago, I met a gentleman named Krishan Khanna, and he has been put in charge by his government in India to stand up a community college system to do exactly the kind of thing we're talking about today. That's our competition. It's real. And manufacturing holds great promise for this community, for our students, for incumbent workers, and for the employers in our area. We thank you for the long, ongoing partnership that we have with this community, with this county, and we're grateful that you show great support to Ivy Tech Community College on behalf of the citizens that we all serve. Thank you.
Finish everything?
A couple things. Mark, do you want to elaborate on the start of the curriculum at Lawrenceburg High School this fall?
Yes, sir. We're working with the superintendent, Carl Gailey, and the principal there, Bill Snyder, where high school juniors and seniors that are interested in taking advanced manufacturing classes during the day will actually be bused over to our Ivy Tech facility to start taking introductory classes. Now, obviously, they're still juniors and seniors in high school, so they'll take some of their classes there. They'll come over and take some introductory classes at Ivy Tech with the intentions when they graduate, they'll probably have between 18 to 24 credit hours of Ivy Tech credit earned, and it requires 60 hours for a associate's degree. So this will give a student a leg up upon graduation, enrolling in Ivy Tech. Hopefully within about a year after graduation, they'll graduate a second time with an associate's degree at Ivy Tech, either industrial technology or advanced manufacturing. We've actually been in talks with South Dearborn also. Superintendent Murley, he's on board with this, and he intends to do the same thing with his students, as well as the Ohio County Superintendent Brandon Roeder, and he's also going to do the same thing with his students, juniors and seniors, sending them to Ivy Tech for classes.
And one last item, you ran over it with $70,000 worth of operating expenses. Ivy Tech's also agreed to a 10-year agreement to run that.
Absolutely. And the original building was built in 1999, so obviously we've been there for 16 plus years, and we intend to be there for many more years.
That's all I had, Your Honor.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Because I think it's a great idea, but me sitting up here doing my job, I'm trying to figure out why it's a good idea for the citizens to pay for half of it. You said you had a round table with Greendale,
Aurora, Lawrenceburg.
Was the county involved?
County, Kevin Lynch was there. Several of the other officials were there. Commissioners, yes.
Can you tell me how much each one of those are contributing?
At this time, they're part of the roundtable session. To be honest with you, we have not solicited them for any funds, but one thought process is obviously when we go through this manufacturing, this construction project, similar to Intrapac, Intrapac brought their own equipment into our facility, and that was a pharmaceutical tube making machine from Costa Rica, so they actually supplied the equipment, and then we did the training in the building. Of course, we provided the electric and the water and all of the utility needs for that piece of equipment. So a lot of that equipment will actually be provided in the future by those companies, which is a great partnership that we will have with those local manufacturers. Great question.
Just because, I mean, our revenue's declining drastically. What is Ivy Tech's net worth?
I would have to ask our facilities finance director that.
Our operating budget is around $6 million.
But what's Ivy Tech's net worth?
Come to podium, please.
You're talking statewide now?
Yes.
Oh. Well, we have 31 campuses statewide with several hundred facilities, similar like the one down here at the Riverfront campus owned by the state of Indiana and Ivy Tech. About 200,000 students are enrolled. I'm making the number up of number of employees, but I think it's in the neighborhood of 4,000 to 5,000 full-time employees, numerous part-time adjuncts. So, I mean, the number is rather large. I know our state operating budget yearly is approximately...
It's about a little over $500 million.
Yeah,
about $500 million a year.
Your net capital is over $549 million.
That's our operating budget statewide.
Yeah, that's the operating budget. It would take some time to research it, but I mean, we're talking hundreds of buildings similar down, at the end of the street, and let's assume that building's worth $20 million, multiply that by 200 around the state, so there's quite a bit of capital there, equipment, vehicles throughout the state of Indiana. We could provide that, but it would take a little time to research that.
And then it looks like there's been maybe two new schools and one addition.
The original one that was built in 1999, that's correct.
From Indianapolis, Anderson, and Bloomington. Those three that was done under bonds.
Are you referring to the last legislative session? I'm not sure.
I'm pulling it out of your financial,
Okay.
2013-14.
Okay, yeah, those were bonded under the last legislative session, yes.
Right. And then you're doing a cash-funded project in Hamilton County for $12 million.
That is correct.
So, I mean, if you don't get this money from the city, are you going to do this project? Because I'm just curious of why none of the other cities, counties contributing, and I think it's a great thing, but I have to look out for the money for the citizens for the future.
I think I'd like to ask Chancellor Lowry to comment on our Batesville facility in the last 18 months and how we raised private money as well as local money for that.
Yeah, great question. And typically with what happens with the state is, and it's going on right now at the legislature, they will go through a number of capital projects, not only for our college, but for Indiana University, Purdue, and all the others. And they'll take a really long list and they'll really shorten it down. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with this current round of the General Assembly, but I have most recently been told out of that really long list of capital projects, they're going to agree and allow for the state to bond for one of those projects. So some of those times, in a rare instance, it's where the state will actually bond for a facility. Generally speaking, what the state has said in recent years is for Ivy Tech, we have to raise the money locally by some means. The most recent project that at least I was associated with before coming to the college was in Batesville. And in that instance, it was about a $3.5 million project. The city of Batesville put in $1 million. The school corporation, because it had some different financing available, did $1 million. Philanthropy did about $500,000. And businesses, most of whom are going to be somehow associated with the facility and or individuals, everything from $100 checks to $25,000 checks, paid for the remainder of that. In that instance, the state did not put any funds into that. So a little bit different there. Revenue streams are obviously different, just as any community's revenue streams are, but we've been told pretty clearly by the state that there'll be a very short list of projects that get state bonding for their efforts. And we know sometimes how that is, who is able to get the attention, gets approval on those. I don't know if that one illustration helps any.
And one other question, wasn't majority of both the schools in Lawrenceburg paid for by Lawrenceburg?
I don't know.
The first project, approximately 70% was city funded. The second project, I believe the city had built that facility, and then we took it over. We finished out some of the funds for it, and then took over operating.
Do you know what those total funds was, by chance?
For the
Two facilities?
I believe the first building, the city money was around $4 million out of the $6 million, and I believe the city had about $12 million in the facility downtown.
Thank you.
Anybody else, anything? Board?
Yeah, I would like to speak. I appreciate the industrial, welding and all that.
Yes, sir.
When I was in school, Lawrenceburg had the program, and a ton of youngsters are still doing that today. They don't have it over there anymore.
Correct.
And Lawrenceburg is, it's a blue collar place, and a lot of people leave, a lot of people don't. But the guys that stay here, that it's welding, it's machining, it's manufacturing, those kind of things, whether it's here or the surrounding towns, cities. Now, whether or not we think this is a good investment, you're investing not only into your kids, but we're investing into adults across the board. And I know a lot of people that have gotten laid off, 40, 45, and what do? Yeah, absolutely, right here. Right over here, we're shutting down.
Yes, sir.
So that's 92 jobs.
And those individuals will have to be retrained, and a good example is like a welding lab that we do not have here in southeastern Indiana. Of course, we didn't anticipate that in 1997, 98 when we were working on that project, but it now gives us an opportunity to retool for the workforce needs that we're currently seeing and into the future. And these are good paying jobs, as Chancellor Lowry mentioned earlier.
And again, for me, I think it goes with partnerships. I know the city, I didn't want to say we approached you, but I think it was, the city did have a good, we were probably on the upper end of approaching you about locating downtown at the time, if I remember right.
Correct.
So again, it's, this money, riverboat money across the board since the beginning of, it's supposed to be spent on economic development. This is economic development, jobs, education, you can go on and on and on. I support the program, and I would much rather partnership with you and then just tell you to leave. This program may not happen, because there are a lot of kids that are blue collar. Again, I've already said it. There's a lot of blue collar.
Absolutely.
Blue collar town. Good training, good education.
Well, it's interesting, in 2006, prior to moving downtown, we had approximately 15 full-time employees, and now we have about 60 full-time employees at our Riverfront campus. And as Mr. Holcamp said, we are an economic machine in the sense that we have about a $6 million budget that we spend here in the city of Lawrenceburg on our utilities and our consumables and everything. So that's part of the equation too here, because with this expansion, obviously there'll be jobs during the construction project for 13 months that a lot of our local construction companies will obviously enjoy and thrive in. But also after we open this up and as we increase our enrollment, then we're going to need to hire more full-time employees. So that's going to be another benefit, not only the training side, but also the employment side for Ivy Tech.
Just one more thing. Also, with partnerships, I think, they don't last for 12 months. They're supposed to last, a lifetime. But at the same time, who knows? In 5 years, we may have something we want to do and ask you to partnership.
Absolutely.
And, you're going to be on the receiving end saying, hey, yeah, maybe we can put up X amount of dollars. So, it's good to partner and at least work together.
Well, when we started the building project in 2006, our thought process was nursing and medical at the time, and that's what we really emphasized down there. And Mr. Roger Howard called me a few weeks ago asking if he could send the HR department over to the college and recruit some of the graduates as they're graduating this month, which of course is April, and they graduate here in May. So our local employers are calling and asking to come over and basically come into the class with in this case, it's the medical assistants that will be graduating here in about 3 weeks. And many of them are going to have a job before they walk across the stage, and they're going to be working here in Dearborn County. And Mr. Howard didn't have to post anything in the paper or anything like that. He just called me and said, we're going to come down and recruit some of your graduates. And that's a case where if you're at the hospital, I would encourage you to ask whoever's taking care of you where they've graduated at, and you'll be quite surprised how many Ivy Tech graduates work at Dearborn County Hospital, many of our local doctors' offices, physicians, specialists, and like that. So there's been quite a tremendous return on investment for the past 10 years with what the council did. Of course, I keep looking up there. I see Bill Cunningham up there, so every time, and that's who we were speaking to in 2006 and had that vision to invest in the medical community at that time and to provide high-paying jobs for graduates. And many of our graduates at Ivy Tech, approximately 97% of them stay local. So these are local folks, students that are coming here, and then they're staying here in Dearborn County, so we don't have that brain drain situation that many communities experience. So we're educating our homegrown graduates at the high schools, and of course they're going to lead to marriage, families, spending here in a local community. So there's a lot of positive spin-off from these educational partnerships. Absolutely.
I'd like to make a couple comments, Your Honor. I appreciate it. I think it's a great idea, but I too am concerned about the citizens' tax dollars and how they're spent and how we have partnered with you. I agree with Bill. Over a period of years, did a lot of good things together. At last meeting, we earmarked over $200,000 for Spillman software. Is that Nick sitting there? Nick,
I don't know, I'm not aware of anything spilling.
Does anybody know if Mr. Lanning approached the Community Foundation for a $100,000 grant?
I don't know, I haven't seen Mr. Lanning.
I'm actually familiar with what you're talking about. We were contacted, and I believe it was by the county for that software, because they're spearheading that. They actually brought consultants in, I believe it was from New Mexico, Arizona, and they did all of their presentations to the local EMS, fire departments at Ivy Tech for that particular project. So they used our facility for that.
Okay, well, at the last meeting, I believe I made the motion, and the motion was to go ahead and allow for the Spillman project as long as $100,000 of it came from the Community Foundation, and then I would put the money back into the 10-county grant. That I informed, I don't know who I talked to at the clerk treasurer's office, I believe it was Suzanne. I said, you gotta get a hold of Mike Lanning. He needs to apply for this grant, and we cannot go ahead and pay for it in advance because the grant money that comes from the Community Foundation has to go straight to wherever this product's coming from. It can't be paid for in advance. So right there, we're losing another $100,000. And what was the total amount for the Spillman project?
$279,000, I think.
$279,000.
Plus, that's plus some more. There's some loose dollars and change there.
So we're looking at $280,000.
Give or take, yeah.
Okay. And then we also earmarked $60,000 for 911 to come out of the 10-county grant. And as of what I have got sitting in front of me, we have $2,854,351.42 in NR and in 10 county. But then we got a minus. Mr. Grant, can you come up here a minute, please? Still owe out. Okay. 277,000. What is it? Okay, from the previous remaining 10-county grant, we owe out $270,000. So with all of the above, that, I don't have my calculator, I'm doing these numbers on paper with my head. That brings us down to approximately 2.5 million. And that's not including the other. So we don't actually have that money. Is there any way we can go through with Spillman, 911, pay what we owe from the past, the $270,000, and there will be a shortfall, and give you what we can? If I'm going to get some advice from my public, my constituents, and Mike, how much money did you say they had in reserves?
Well, I'm just talking about, the way I read it, it's their net capital, they're worth. 549 million is what I read.
But you don't know how much they've got in just standing money?
No, that's a 63-page report, I think.
Okay.
Part of this too, Jane, I do think, well, with any of the 10 county grant things, we've done it like so much per year, because they're not even starting the project till September, I believe.
That is correct.
So probably, if you wish to grant them the whole 2.7, you're probably not going to need the whole 2.7 in the year 2015. And then for our budget in 16, we could just make sure that, that it's budgeted in there. So
You could do the 2 million this year, maybe the 700 next year or whatever.
I don't know.
That would work.
And you could split it
That would
up.
be fine, yes.
'Cause like I said, there'd be no way they could Probably, you probably could, but it would be difficult to do that within 3 months at the end of the year, the whole 2.7.
Can we table this so we make sure all the money's there for Spillman and if the community foundation's gonna come in, or?
Well, one of the things with the community foundation, it can't be for reimbursements, I do know that.
I know that. That's why the Spillman can't be paid. That's why I wanted Mr. Lanning to know that right away, that he had to get in for that grant, and they will not reimburse. They have to pay directly to Spillman. And I don't know if he's taking care of that or not.
The more we keep dragging his feet, the later this project's gonna get started. There is money in there sitting there now. And, the money's sitting there now. If you say you wanna give back to the people, how much better can you give back to the people?
I know, I agree with the
mean,
project. I
I don't
wholeheartedly
think we
agree
should
with
drag our
it, but I
feet.
want to make sure there's enough money to go around to do what we need to do this year
I believe there will.
and what we've already committed to. What happens if we split it in half?
Well, remember, tuition is paid for those people that attend. I mean, so it's just as any business. I mean, people's paying to attend. It's not like the public's getting it for nothing.
Leslie, do we vote on it like this, or do we vote on it in a form of a interlocal resolution? Or
Yeah, their resolution interlocal would be at our next meeting.
Leslie, that would be a development agreement with the redevelopment?
Oh, yes, this was, yes, you're right. It would be a development agreement with the redevelopment. So
If I could go over the numbers real quick. So, with Spillman, what's that dollar amount there?
279.
279,000?
Plus, yeah, I don't know what it is exactly.
We rounded it off to 280,000.
So are you talking about taking that whole amount? Part of it?
Well, we was hoping the community foundation would give 100,000, but like she said, the community foundation will not reimburse.
Okay, so the other number you're concerned about is the 60,000?
Yes. For 911.
Roughly, you've got a concern over 339,000.
And plus you still out 270, you said.
So you gotta use the 270, but, well, I'm showing, your net number before you started was 2.5?
No, my net number before I started deducting was 2.8.
2.8. Okay. If I use your 2.8,
And that was the money allocated for this year, and the 200 and some thousand was NNR. And there's supposed to be $3.5 million left over from last year floating around somewhere.
Tyler and I are working on that to get a number and come back to you guys about what we have to do.
I'm good with going, if we could go 2 million now, leave the 700,000 in there, or the 800,000, and then next year.
That's not
budget it
minus,
in.
and
So,
that's before the negatives, though, Bill.
It'll work.
What's come up with, Grant?
I'm working.
Our next step, just while we're waiting, we would take this to the redevelopment commission, because they are the sponsor. There's a development agreement as before with them.
Correct.
I plan to get that in front of them at the next meeting, the
Okay.
13th. But that's why we need their approval tonight, so we can do that on the 13th. Otherwise, we'll probably need to call a special redevelopment meeting to try to keep you guys on track.
Showing, if I use your 2.8, I'm showing what you're talking about is about $800,000. So it would show that about $2 million is available. If I use your 2.8 and take all of that away from it. Spilling 60,000 to 270 and another grant. I also have lobbyist dollars. So I'm showing a net number of right around $2 million.
Leslie, will you work with Mr. Lanning on that community foundation grant so $100,000 can get put back in the 10 County grant fund?
We can try. I mean, if
And hold off
we're not
on
even-
paying for that, because that's why I said I would vote for it, to put the money back in if we got that from the community foundation.
But there was no way for him to say that they're going to get it.
Right, they won't know.
Right.
And it'll take time.
Yes, I can follow up with him.
Okay, anybody else?
Grant, do you think we can go a little bit lower, maybe 1.8 to be safe instead of 2 million?
Well, if I use the 2.8 and the change that you had up there, it should, and you're talking about that potential 100,000, it still would net out to, that's what I was showing before you added those in. You know, because I only worked at what was awarded this year. And then you're saying that carryover for 2.8. Again, there's 3.5 floating around somewhere.
It should be in a non-reverting fund.
Because last year there was $7 million in the program, and only 3.5 was awarded out to Hollywood. So, and that is set up as a non-reverting.
Yeah, but we need to know why it's floating and why it wasn't set up, and we wouldn't be going through this right now.
Right. Well, and that's the safe way here is that there's $2 million, and that does not talk about at all the 3.5.
And what, after the 2 million, we'll still have enough to cover our other agreements.
Using your 2.8, yes.
Now, Jackie's office gave me those numbers.
You got
And I verified them again this morning with Brittany. So as of this morning, those are the accurate numbers. Yes, I want to create jobs for the city of Lawrenceburg. Yes, I want to see our high school graduates, most of them go into blue-collar jobs. I know my son, he's a blue-collar worker. He's doing very well for himself. There's a lot of people that don't go to college for 4 years, and they go into apprenticeships for different things, and most of the 4-year graduates don't even make as much money as some of these guys out there in the construction world. So, yes, I'm all for it. I hope it will create jobs. I hope it will help Batesville Products. Grant, we have neglected Batesville Products in the past. Is there any way we can get that grant to them for that piece of machinery that they requested?
Let's stay on what we're on now. We can go to other things later.
I'll make a motion. To do the 2 million now, to send it on to redevelopment, with a favorable.
Have a motion? Have a motion, here a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Roll call, please.
Yeah, just a second. Jane?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Bill?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
And JR?
Yes.
Okay. It's 4 yeses to 1 no.
I do think it's a good thing, but I have reasons.
Tremendous thing. Best way to spend any of this riverboat money, that's going a real good thing right here.
Thank you.
It's not only that's gonna help our vets when they coming back, they can go to school. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Grant, for helping me out
Thank
there.
you. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Dale Reinhardt, American Diabetes Association. I'll be able to get that straight as long as I know you, Dale.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, public. I'm here today just to ask for a donation like I had the past 3 years for American Diabetes Association. I didn't put it on the list, but I'm also asking, I was thinking about doing a pre-ride before the diabetes ride. The ride is June the 13th in Milford, Ohio. If we could set up a route within town here with Greendale, it'd be an 8-mile loop. It would start at the park and end at the park. But first of all, we want to work with a donation. And I gave you a packet, explains everything.
Anything on the board?
I got Jamie Dahl with me from the American Diabetes Association. If I can't answer any questions, she can answer them.
Mayor, can you offer them some money from your promotional funds?
I don't know what I got left. I got some of it earmarked.
You got $2,000.
That's probably earmarked. Did I give to?
City Council, it's got some money earmarked too for some upcoming.
That money is earmarked.
Is there anything, any line we can pull some money out of, Jackie, other than council or promotional? Can we pull it out of,
I would think it would
I've
have to
seen some donations being pulled out of services and consultants.
I don't know which ones, but okay. It really needs to come out of a promotional or a line that's for something like that. I don't know which ones came out of services and consultants.
Well, the one for Paul's came out of Carl Fryman's, and they considered that services and consultants.
Might ask for Dale.
Anytime this is in between funds, though, there has to be a resolution or ordinance to do so. So if the original fund is like in MDF and you are going to transfer it to Riverboat or vice versa, those have to be done by ordinance or resolution. So I'm not sure if Mr. Reinhardt's particular cause has been in the budget. I believe you just come in front of council and ask for donations, correct?
Leslie, it just comes out of council donations or one of the other places that there was money.
The past couple of years, it's only been like $200, $250, somewhere in that range.
Hey Dale, I'm running in the Flying Pig Marathon on Team Lauren Hill. So you come see me and I'll come see you. And
we can do that.
We can donate each other.
I'm also looking for riders who wants to ride with us. If you can ride Lawrenceburg to Roy Trail, you can ride 5 miles. They do have a 5, or 6, is it 6 mile? It's 5 miles. They do have a 5 mile, 25 mile, 50 mile, and 100 mile. I did the 25 last year.
25?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good for you. What do you want to do?
Well, I know last meeting, we were tapped out of money because it was set aside for different things. So,
Jackie, can you find the line item?
I can look, but I'm not sure.
Jane, when you're out of money, you're out of money.
I know.
Yep.
Well, there should be there should be some money left in council donations.
But we got that earmarked.
Okay.
that's the thing, we can't keep anytime, nothing against you, Dale. I mean, we've given away all of our council donations, the marketing's tapped, and I mean, it's time to not reappropriate or steal from other line items, because then we're just digging a hole somewhere else.
And I'm truly sorry.
That's all right. Like I said, it's only a donation, so.
I will personally make a $50 donation to your cause, and I challenge each and every one of my council persons to do the same, and that will be your $250.
I'll give you 50.
That's $100.
We can do that.
Stay in there, Dale, for a few more minutes.
You're doing good.
And now the pre-ride. Okay.
Mark, Mike? Chris, you got something to say?
I'm sorry, Mayor. If acceptable, the Ivy Tech Foundation would like to do the other $150 too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The ride that I was talking about would start at Greendale Park and come down through Ridge, 5th Street to Shipping up to 50, and then down the front, let me get streets right, Main Street, and down Main to First to Front, and then follow the trail into Walnut. I wanted to go to bike trail to Aurora, but since they're working on sewer lines or something's probably said down that way, we can't go that way. So the Walnut, to High, to Short, over to Arch, to Euphemia, Martin Luther King, or no, not Euphemia, come back Euphemia, cross over 50 or use the tunnel to the high school, and then back behind the middle school, back up to Main Street, back up to Ridge. And then Ridge would go all the way to Parkside back to the park. That's 8 miles, one way. So if we get, help from Nick or from Johnny to shut down 50 just for 20 riders to get across the street,
That'd be the police department.
that's all we would have to
Just
do.
let us know when and everything's a certain time and everything, we'll get it done.
And we're looking at a date of the last weekend of May or the first weekend of June, which would be the 6th, and the ride's the 13th. Like I said, there are probably 20 riders, 10 to 20. And then if anybody wants to ride with us, more welcome. I know, Nick, don't you guys have some guys that ride bikes, police officers patrol?
Yeah, if they're on duty though, they'll be obviously
They're welcome
in
to
their
come
car
with
that
us
day.
too, so that's all I got.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
I'll leave Dale, I'll leave a check with one of the girls out here tomorrow,
Either that
so
or
we can
just
pick it up.
Leave it with Johnny or Bobby.
Okay,
I'll
give it to
leave
Johnny.
my check with one of the girls out there too.
Okay.
Gene Pope, Breakfast with Santa Claus.
We have our annual breakfast with Santa Claus. Like council donations are about spent out. We usually give them $6,000 a year. I would like to make a motion to give them $4,500 for their breakfast with Santa Claus, and the remaining money left in city council, which is $500, go to the Eddie Canoe Christmas toy drive.
Just $5,000 left.
500.
I mean, $5,000 total, I mean.
5,000 is what we got left.
Do you have much left? Put that in motion?
Yes. 4,500 breakfast with Santa Claus, $500 with the Eddie Canoe Christmas toy giveaway.
For a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Rick Holding, Jeff Seeley, UCW bike race.
Good evening, and the first good news, the Reds won 5-2. Todd Frazier hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th, so there you go.
You ought to announce for him.
Yeah, pardon?
Sound like you should announce for him.
Oh, thank you. I think you all have a package from us on the race. I've got extras if the police department or fire wanted or anyone wants it. I've got extras. I also will pass out actually a map of the route being considered. Your Honor, if you could just take one pass down each way, appreciate it. What we're proposing, and my colleague Rick Harding isn't here, we've been working with Kelly Will in the Lawrenceburg area as well, is proposing to, if you're familiar with the Hyde Park Blast, in terms of it's a community race that goes on, it's a professional cycling race, is to do one on in Lawrenceburg on Friday evening. And this would be the inaugural one with the idea of making this a long-term project for Lawrenceburg and for Queen City Wheels. Give you a little background on Queen City Wheels if you didn't read. We're a 501c cycling team, and so we do a lot of events around the area to promote cycling. And the idea came to us to do something to make this a weekend. So basically Friday would be Lawrenceburg, Saturday would be Hyde Park, and Sunday would be Madeira. Working with Kelly and her team, we'd actually move the Thursday night concert series to Friday night as well. And then our proposal is to basically put forth this race in Lawrenceburg on Friday night. We'd have to close the streets of Lawrenceburg around 2:30 and start racing at 2:30, and we'd go probably till about 11 o'clock at night. We'd have over 10 racers. We'd have actually doing the last one would be a professional bike race with a $10,000 purse. So we believe we'd be pulling in probably close to 400 to 500 bike racers. And again, the Hyde Park Blast, it becomes an incredible city event. Can't guarantee the first year, but I think what will happen is it'll really build with what you're considering doing with concerts, and then we work with food vendors, work in putting together an entire kind of council to make this a really powerful community event, with the idea of 2016 getting this one and the Hyde Park Blast on as a national. The United States has to be here. So we've already talked to USA Cycling about this. They're very interested. There's a hole in their schedule to do that. So it'd be really, I think, a pretty terrific event and great publicity. All we'd ask from you is, one, your approval, and secondly, to obviously close the streets, working with your communities. But we self-fund everything. We'd be using the police department to the extent that we have to by hiring off-duty officers and paying for that. We are required by USA Cycling to have an entire safety plan. You're covered by insurance. We actually have insurance where you're all named as insurers. All the cyclists, part of their fee covers insurance. So we make sure there's no liability from a perspective of the city in any way, shape, or form, and you're an additional insured on all the things, including the setup and the takedown.
Good to hear.
Pardon?
Good to hear.
So, yeah, we really try to do these things where they're minimal impact except bringing people in. We'd set up a stage, a small stage in the finish line, have a PA system. We're actually bringing our own DJ. If the city has a PA system, we'd actually rent that from you as part of the process as well. Again, we're looking at then also talking to the local Boy Scout troops about bringing them on as volunteers to help manage some of the city crossings as well, and we make a donation back to them. So the objective is what we bring in through sponsorship and donations, we try to give as much back to the communities as we can, and the young man who was doing the bicycle thing will certainly help them as well. We do those kinds of things. One of our bigger sponsors is we actually do a lot for Pelotonia. If you're familiar with that, it's a cancer ride in Columbus. It's the largest fundraising cancer ride in the United States. Last year it raised $22 million. So our team donated over $25,000 to that fund alone through riders and that. So we try to do a lot of things to give back. We'll partner with you. Last year we did with National Night Out. I don't know if the Lawrenceburg Police does that as well with National Night Out. We've given over 1,200 helmets away free to kids, and one of the things this benefit from this, we'd work with the police department as well to do a National Night Out, and then try to do some fun for you as well. Have a kids race, a little kids race set up for that with some prizes, do some politician races, local celebrities and stuff like that, where we just try to do stuff to make it a great community event. So that's kind of my pitch. The course we've set out is one that may have a little bit of problems. It turns out Pat Benatar, I believe, is performing on Saturday nights. They may have to do some setup. So we're certainly willing to work with you as to what's the right course and how to set that up, and or provide them access in and out a couple times during the day.
Mario, you ran these routes.
Well, this is the first time we really get to talk about the routes. Walnut Street, how long do you think you'll block it? You said closing would be at 2:30.
Basically, we would, ideally, we'd love, and again, I don't know how wide that some of these streets are, we could probably provide a couple areas if it's a 4-lane road to make it a, 2 and 2, so change the traffic that way. If it's a 2-lane road, we'd probably have to close the entire road, because when you have 100 cyclists going 35 miles an hour, you don't want any cars kind of in their way.
So how long does it take to do a circuit or complete a race?
The circuit we propose proposed is about 1 minute, so basically they'll be going by literally about every 2 minutes to 3 minutes. So we have, we create barriers around the main Walnut area. We'd actually create about 100 yards worth of barriers so people can't walk with crossings. And the idea basically is Walnut Street would probably be closed the entire time because that's your start-finish area as well.
What if they got an event center that?
Well, that creates a problem just getting to the event center and the hotel. And
Emergency vehicle access during this.
If there's an emergency vehicle, situation on the course, obviously we try to find ways to do alternative routes. And again, this is the route we propose. We could certainly look at other routes as well. We're trying to utilize as much of the downtown area as we could to create a really kind of a cool event that way.
So the course doesn't really, permanently shut down.
The ideal.
We're not going to have barricades that we cannot move.
No, sir. We actually just use fencing. And again, I refer to the Hyde Park Blast because that's one that's been going on for about 15 years. There's actually a fire station right in the middle of the race course. They just park the engines on a side street so they're able to leave and exit the course.
They're the ones that have the nice barricades too.
Yeah. Well, these would just be some good old metal fencing and some hay bales. We're proposing using the railroad underpass, which we think is a really cool feature for a race. We'd actually hay bale that out and those types of things. So we try to create as safe an environment as possible. Obviously, the biggest safety concern is really the start-finish area because, like any race, when it comes down to finish time, it's going to be fast, and there'll be some smash-ups too. So hopefully, no one ever gets hurt. But there was always a few serious road rashes in the middle of the day.
When you have the politician race, I'm going to designate someone else to do it.
Well, make sure you get the fastest bike, Mayor.
Yeah, but be pumping, it's going to be.
So, Your Honor, a couple more questions.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have music on the river. This is Friday night, correct?
Yes.
I see Pat, maybe be the one to ask, do you have any problems or questions as far as how to logistically get your people in and out to the...
I think the idea is great. When Kelly told me, we were very excited, and the fact that we have music, and you thought music is a good addition, to the event, you thought this is going to work fine. I'm concerned about ingress and egress, because a lot of the people that come park in that parking garage. So if Walnut Street is closed off, I'm not sure how we get them to the parking garage unless we instruct them and have people directing them, like down Elm.
Well, the only way we'd get in is go the wrong way, I guess, on Elm Street.
Yeah. We'd have to make some alterations as far as getting people who are coming to the concert. And those are probably going to be, we're going to have two crowds here. We're going to have the people who are the bicycling enthusiasts and the participants. Then we're going to have the people for the concert. So we've got to just find an alternative route that we can make sure that we either have people guiding the people coming to the concert or something, just so we have a place to put them.
What we found with Hyde Park is actually the concert goers actually wind up turning around. The way the race course is designed specifically goes right past them, so they kind of see it. So they kind of really get engaged with it that way as well. And at that time, the timing of that was timing with the professional race. So we're having the best racers when you have your biggest crowd. So I think it just gives you even more of an opportunity. In terms of traffic management, we certainly work with public safety if we have to go one way, or we'll have lots of volunteers. We'll probably have 50 to 100 volunteers to help move the traffic where they need to be moving. And again, we refer to creating a public safety plan that if the police department said, hey, we need 6 off-duty officers and we need to bring in county, we'll do that as well. So we want to make sure that we have a safe event. And again, obviously with the concert, I don't know how much you guys have to patrol that area or not. So we want to just make sure between county and city that we've got plenty of people, and it's something, again, we've budgeted to make sure that it's not something we're putting on your payroll, it's something we're putting on ours, so to speak.
So this is something that maybe annually that you would be
Our hope is to make this, for those of you not familiar with it, Cincinnati has in the fall, we have what's called the Cincy 3, which is a cyclocross race, which is in Kentucky and Ohio, and it's a world level race. And we're looking at doing this same world level race or quality world level race in this area in the summer on the streets using just probably not Madeira because it's really, that course doesn't hold itself to that. They'll get a lot of holdovers. But this course, through the research that we've proposed, would actually be probably the best, what's called a criterium course in the United States. So we think that by having it set up this way, it's going to be really fast, and doing a great job in our inaugural event, I think, is going to drive it to be. And obviously that's sponsorship driven, so we're going to have to do a lot of work in the next 2.5 months to get sponsors to pay for this and those types of things, because the total entry fees don't pay for everything that goes with it.
I would definitely like to see us at least try it.
Oh, yes.
So this circuit right here, it's not set in stone. We could tweak and tune this if needed.
Yeah, we've just tried to create the fastest, safest course. We've driven them. We actually have 3 other courses, and again, we'll work with you to figure out what's the best course. Ideally, the course needs to be between 9/10 of a mile and 1.2 miles long. If it gets too short, it gets really chaotic and it gets unsafe. So that's the idea of basically trying to use as much of the downtown area as we can to create that safe of a course.
I can have something. Yeah. Kelly, do you know if there's any conflict with the event center or any major function going on there simultaneously?
Yeah, there is a load-in scheduled for that evening for the concert that's occurring the following night. So load-in on that Friday. I'm not sure of the exact time. I spoke with Ken about this, but really my recommendation if the council approves this tonight would be to then form a committee that would involve, of course, our police and fire departments, probably Pat here since she has a Main Street event going on that night, as well as some representatives from the event center, perhaps Mario and anyone else that should be involved to make sure that this is a safe event and it works for all parties involved, that we're not obstructing, that this event doesn't obstruct anyone's business per se. So would need to engage a number of people.
It sounds like a great idea, but the logistics need to be worked through. Even Ivy Tech. I mean, we've got to work through that. They're finishing the day classes. I don't know if you have evening classes on Friday night. It sounds great, but there's a lot of things need to be worked out.
I've got
recommend a committee.
I've got a comment I'd like to make about it. We've in Gallup we had a 24-hour mountain bike race. We also lobbied and got the USA Cycling 24-hour race in Gallup 2 years consecutively. We had what called the High Desert Screamer, which was an in-town race, which included closing down part of historic Route 66. A number of mountain bike events that we were able to bring to the community. And there was a lot of reservations about bringing some of those events there, especially closing out Route 66. But I can tell you that bringing them there, making them a success, looking back on that, those were absolute opportunities that we took advantage of. It was great for the community. The people loved it. Those have now turned into annual events. The High Desert 24-hour race is something that's been going on now for 10 years. It's a huge draw. Brings people from all over the country. I see a lot of upsides to these kinds of things.
Yeah. Our vision of as a team, and I'd actually be the race director. I'm a certified race director from USA Cycling, so I'm actually the person in charge of the whole thing. And I'm also the president of Queen City Wheels, so I'm both. But the idea behind this is we really want to make this a weekend that is truly a national level event in this area, and we just think that. When we came to Lawrenceburg and my colleague Rick Hoding approached Kelly about it, we just think this city, the way it looks, the whole feel of it, it's got an incredible opportunity to take advantage of. And we'd like to partner with you to do that. And ultimately, maybe even provide it, if we get this good, we can provide you a little funds back to your donation world to give you a little more money to give back to your community as well.
Okay, let's set up that committee. EMS, fire, and police is gonna be on it. Pat, Kelly, Paul, Mario, and, you're gonna get on too, Mike. Anybody from council want on this?
I trust their judgment.
Mayor,
Yes.
can we add a couple people from the event center?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yes.
And any of those who don't have a proposal, I don't know who got this, so I think the council got it, but if anyone would like a copy of it, just raise your hand and I'll give you a copy of the
Yes.
the whole detail as well.
Bill said he'd get on it. Anybody else, maybe two from council? Anybody else from council get on it?
Y'all have it?
Aaron?
Okay. I have another question.
You on it?
Ivy Tech.
Good, Ivy Tech. They'll get with you, get set up. Kelly, you spearheaded for us? Kelly? You spearheaded for us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you need to add more, just go ahead.
So, I
This
guess
is very good.
the biggest thing is to get sponsors in that, we do need to have kind of your approval to go forth and do this, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So I don't know how much time we have to make it happen this year without kind of moving the ball forward. No offense, but
Sounds good.
I actually have a real job too, so.
Your name, council.
Yeah, you said you were gonna close down streets at 2:30 on Friday. When would they reopen?
They'd be reopened around midnight on Friday night.
Okay. And then
After we clean, basically reopen as soon as the racing's done, but then we've got to tear down staging and get the barriers out of there and all those kinds of things.
And then you want to prevent walkers from getting into the course, but there's some people who live along that course. How would that work?
Most of the areas in the backside are pretty easily self-policed. I mean, people can see them, and we'll have it well lit because it's at night. We'll actually put some light towers up in some corners, those types of things. That's where we also try to partner with the Boy Scouts, and it could be a father-son type of thing where they're managing. But all the major intersections will have volunteers and crossing at them.
Okay.
It's just kind of the mid-course areas where I guess it's like crossing a street. You look both ways before you cross. And in this case, the good news, you don't have to look to your left because no one's going to be coming from the right. Or it's really bad.
Any more from board? Entertain a motion to do this.
Make a motion to move forward.
Here, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for your
I'm
support.
interested. Christine Craig and Michelle Rizzo, Cinderella Project.
We're here again for the Cinderella Project. This is our 8th year. Each of you should have one of the flyers in your packet. You know that we help the at-risk students. Now we do boys as well. We were doing just girls with their prom packages. But this is our 3rd year with helping young men with their tuxedos and prom tickets and stuff as well. So we're coming to you again asking for a donation of $1,000 to help us pay for the 20 prom tickets because we've got 20 students this year.
Anything on the board?
I think we're out of money.
Jackie, where can we find $1,000 at?
Well, hang on.
Jane, I said this earlier. When you're out of money, you're out of money.
I still got checks.
So do I.
The bank account, 0.
Should have come a month ago, huh?
I do know there are some local churches doing this too, as far as the prom dresses.
Well, we do far more than just prom dresses. We mentor the girls. We spend a lot of time with them. We make them feel special, and we don't just throw a dress and some jewelry at them. So.
Somebody make me feel special for my I might be able to find some money in our parks, Jane, but I don't know. This doesn't tell me what the balance of this fund of, what is it, $394, there's special events, which we use for a lot of things, but I think we could afford to take $1,000 out of there.
Out of what, special events?
Yeah.
Because it pays for the Halloween party at the firehouse, and
But it's not in our parks, it's gonna be special events.
No, it's
No,
in
it's
the parks
it's in
budget.
our parks, but it's a line marked,
Parties?
please.
Excuse me, what's it for?
It pays for the Halloween party at the firehouse each year, that, where the kids,
So we'll have money come October for them.
I need to go back and check in the, because it says all the money's still here, and I don't know if we've spent anything out of it or not. And then it pays for, hayride and hot dogs and that for a Big Brothers Big Sisters events up, at Wormies. That our people are involved in with trailers and tractors and stuff. I can find, I'll tell you this, I'll find $1,000 if you guys want to do it.
What's the board want to do?
I want to give you money, but we just can't rob from other line items. You can't do it. I mean, this has got to stop. I mean, no offense.
I'm with Bill. I mean, our budget, we've spent it, bad as I hate to say it. When it's gone, it's gone.
We'll explain that to, the folks at school and to the students, so.
I'm very sorry. You know how much I've always.
I know,
fought
you've
this.
always been very supportive. JR's always been very supportive, so. Okay.
Thank you. Let's go to RLF Advisory Bank Committee in Lake Marquise.
The RLF Advisory Bank Committee, was recommended by the RLF committee, was the 3 members from the banks, 1 member from UCB, and I don't know that they intended to just have 1 member. They might have more than 1 member, but each bank will be represented on the board. As far as anyone else from the city, they did recommend that happen. We don't necessarily have to do that to begin with. I do think a meeting is set for, Monday? On Wednesday, to look at for an analyst. So they're going to go ahead and start that part of it, but I just wanted the mayor to confirm the appointment of that committee.
What you said was 1 person from each of the 3 banks?
I guess that would be the one that would actually speak if they came to speak to us, at our RLF committee meetings. That would probably make sense. But they talked about having more than 1 person from each institution on the bank, which I don't have a problem with.
Yes, I'll set that committee.
The only other thing is we had an executive session, and I need to see whether or not the board wants to proceed with a vote. There was an offer made by Brian Bischoff on the Linkmeyer matter to pay all of the interest owed by May 1st if we were to hold off on the foreclosure action. So I told him I would bring that to you, and
When did the notification go out for that meeting?
it was on the executive session at 5:30.
I didn't even know it.
When?
Night.
Nobody notified me.
I sent letters
We're
out to
here.
everybody.
You were here.
We were here when we did the foreclosure part, but we
Right.
weren't here about the Bob Bischoff proposal. That's just a letter you received without a meeting?
No, it wasn't a letter that I received. It was a phone call that I received.
But you never had a meeting over that?
Yes, we did have an executive session today. There was one set at 5 and one set at 5:30.
Today?
Yes.
I had it on my calendar. I don't know when it was set up or what, one of the meetings that means, or got a letter in the mail.
What was the one at 5 for?
Utilities.
Utility board.
What was,
AEP.
I'm sorry, Jackie, I didn't receive a letter.
I made sure that I sent letters,
mail gets lost.
I put them in the mail. I made sure that I sent them. Aaron, you got yours?
I either from here or in the mail because I had it in my calendar, so that's the only
Bill,
2
did
ways.
you get one?
Was there a quorum?
Was there what?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we had 3.
I was here.
But there wasn't, that was the only reason we
I
called,
only
maybe
found 11 here
a
from the mail.
meeting. We weren't able to, obviously, in any executive session, take any kind of vote.
Okay, how much?
So explain to me what he offered?
To pay the interest that they owe on the $3.2 million loan, which accumulated right now, I think from Umball's numbers, was about $185,000.
By what?
May 1st.
Did he put this in writing?
No. I can definitely get it in writing. Obviously, if they don't pay it by May 1st, then The other thing is I have talked with an attorney. We are, starting the beginning process of the foreclosure right now.
I say we hold off till we get something in writing.
Anything else on board? What's the board want to do? I don't want to vote on it until I see something in writing neither.
That's what I was gonna make a motion to include that if you guys want me to. I'll make a motion to, halt the foreclosure proceedings if the city receives a written letter from Mr. Bischoff with his, offer of catching interest up by May 1st.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Work on that and get that to you as soon as possible.
Any comments from the audience?
Mayor, Your Honor, may I make one more comment? I think we need to vote on the special common council minutes from March 30th.
Wasn't on the agenda.
No, this would just be, since we're convened as common council and this was a special common council meeting on March 30th, we can approve the minutes. That's what she meant.
You put that in motion?
I make a motion to approve the special common council meeting on March 30th.
There a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Thanks, Jane, for catching that.
Any comments from the audience? Come to the microphone, please. State your name.
Jean Fouch. I just have a question. On all these things that you were going back and forth and saying that you've already spent your whole budget, are you talking about for the year you've already spent your whole budgets and all this stuff?
Line items in
As far as
certain
donations, yes.
Okay, so you're talking about the year, like that you still have,
Yes.
like, a lot of months left in? Oh, yeah.
We cut a lot of budgets 60% too.
Okay. I was just
But it's not the whole budget, it's just a line item in the budget.
Okay.
I didn't come up here with Christine.
State your name, please.
Rochelle Rezzo. I didn't come up here with Christine earlier, but the more I sat there and thought about what you guys said about your line item, I have to tell you, for the Cinderella Project, you guys have partnered with us for this will be the 8th year. Our girls and now our boys know that you are the ones that sponsor their prom tickets. We tell them this. This is not a secret at the high school. Now, tomorrow, I get to go back to high school because I'm a substitute. And I get to have a meeting with those girls and boys and tell them we don't have money for their tickets. I cannot imagine, after Jackie saying she could find the money for these children. This isn't for me and Christine. This is for these kids. I substitute your kids, and I love them all. But these children have no other way to get there. And I know it's prom, and I know in the scheme of life, prom is nothing. But when you are a high school senior, and someone has offered this to you, it is a gift. I cannot tell you how many times I have had girls, and this year I had a boy break down in my arms and cry because he was not going to be able to go. And my husband and I are paying for his prom date's ticket because he can't afford it. We're not asking you for the extras like that. Christine and I pull stuff out of our pockets all the time. But there is just, I cannot imagine that you're saying no to these babies and that something is so important to them. There's got to be a way to do this.
Anything?
I work at Wendy's Hair and Nails on Walnut, and I'll be more than happy to put up a donation bucket on my station. I don't know that we'll be able to raise enough by then, but I'll do my best.
Thank you.
When do you have to have the money?
Prom is May 9th.
I will put something at my business for every car that we sell. Between now and then, I'll donate $100 per car we sell. And I think we've sold about 9 in the past month. So I will donate $100 per car that we sell up until that time.
And my heart's in. I worked at LHS for 22 and a half years. And I seen the disappointment on the seniors and the juniors' faces, the ones that could not afford to go to the prom. absolutely no option, and I've helped students go to the prom, I will make a personal donation.
And ma'am, I'll guarantee $500. Guarantee.
I'll guarantee $100.
Got 400 left, guys. Look, all I'm telling you is every hairstylist in this town donates so my girls can get their hair done for free. Nail places do their nails for free. McCabe's donates all of our corsages, all of our boutonnieres. The convention center was doing a room for us so my girls could get ready there and have extra mirrors in the room, and they were setting up food and drinks. I mean, it is a community thing. So I am very appreciative for that, and I thank you. I thank you too.
I'll go another 100, and I challenge our gentleman sitting over here to.
We're at 5, 6, 7. We need $300 more.
I'll go 50.
Oh, I said 100.
Come on, Mario, you can do it.
5, 6, 7, 50, or 800, Mario.
That's 50, 50, 50, 50.
That's 200 plus the 700. That's 900.
This year.
We need one more $100, gentlemen.
I'll do it.
Got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back up.
Any more? Any more comments from the audience?
There's no, I'd like to make a comment. There's no.
The audience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead and make a comment.
I was going to say there's nothing more heartfelt than charity. And I appreciate everybody that has helped these two different organizations tonight. May God bless you all.
Okay. Review and discuss claims board approval.
No, you forgot the audience this time.
Well, I've been through 3 times.
$100.
Motion? Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion adjourned. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Buddy, how are you?
Can you believe that? Thank you, guys. Hey.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much for your comments, sir.
Redevelopment Commission. They're the sponsor. They're the ones that the agreement's going to be between Ivy Tech and the redevelopment. They already agreed to sponsor. They're the ones that have to sponsor it too. The grant